Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the upcoming transit of planet Mars, which on October 3rd will transit the sign of Libra, and from October 3rd till November 15th, it's going to be transiting in the Libra sign. So guys, during this year, this is going to be a distinctive transit of the planet of aggression, energy and war, because once it will transit the sign of Libra, it is going to get conjunct with Ketu over there. Now guys, try to understand this thing. The two entities involved in this discussion. Conjunction of Mars and Ketu is a energy of explosion. A lot many times it represents all those decisions which are taken in haste, which have been taken without giving much attention to the far-sighted consequences attached to it. And Libra is a very important sign because Libra is the energy of your commercial interest, of your relationship, of your public image. Guys, why to go very far? Like if you have been paying attention to the international politics. Now, me being a Indian living in Canada, recently because of the statement given by one of the leader from one country, it happened right at the time when Moon was transiting in the Virgo, being conjunct with Mars. And afterwards, when things got out of the hand, when both of the countries, they called off their their diplomats being placed or present in another country, it also happened at the time when Moon was transiting in the Libra, being conjunct with Ketu. So that is what the energy of Ketu is, and that is how it is going to be influencing Mars during this time. Guys, the presence of Mars or the role of Mars is very significant in all of our lives. Whether we talk about brotherhood, we talk about courage, we talk about any of the concerns of your logics, your problem solving, your fearlessness, concerns of brotherhood, land, property, all are being represented by the planet Mars. And like the way I have already mentioned this thing, if you are going through any of the concerns of relationship, of any of the difficulties in your commercial line, this conjunction of Mars with Ketu will definitely create those circumstances, whether you will start thinking in the lines of do or die, whether I'm completely into it or I want to sever the ties or get completely out of it. But again guys, depending on individual to individual, this is definitely going to be a surge of energy. All what it comes down to whether Mars is right now in the governing situation in your life or not. So let's say for example, if you are already going through the Mahadasha of the planet Mars, Mars is active right now in your Dasha system, and Mars is a very favorable planet for you. Like let's say for example, you are a Cancer lagna, Leo lagna, where Mars becomes a Yokaraka, you are a Aries lagna, you are a Scorpio lagna, and over and above that, Mars is well placed in your chart. And specifically the house where Libra energy falls, you are right now trying hard to achieve something. So all those kind of big substantial accomplishment suddenly getting into limelight can also be attached with this energy of Mars and its involvement and its influence with Ketu. So yes guys, we will definitely try to look at the customized side of this transit and its impact, but generally the remedy which is advised whenever these two planets get conjunct in the transit is that worship of Lord Ganesha. Recitation of the Atharvashish Stotra is considered as one of the best remedy. Apart from that, like recitation of Hanuman Chalisa, Sundarkand is very much needed. And like the way guys, I always say this thing that with Mars, majority of the problems created by Mars are kind of very personality based. So do not be in a haste to take any decision during this time, and definitely doing remedies actually act as a divine shield. So I'm very much sure that whatsoever will happen, it will have something good in store for you. So okay guys, now we will have our discussion customized to all the lagnas. So starting first with the Aries lagna natives. So guys, as you can see that in your case, Mars is going to be transiting in your 7th house and it is going to be getting conjunct with Ketu over there. Mars has got additional like 4th aspect, 8th aspect as well, with which as well it is going to be looking at your important houses of business, of your professional endeavors, of your finances as well. So guys, one thing is for sure that this entry of Mars in your 7th house will first of all create the energy of matrimonial concerns or matrimonial alliances for a lot many Aries lagna natives. Like the way, guys, I already mentioned this thing that Ketu is soon going to be leaving your 7th house. On October 30, it is going to be leaving your 7th house. Jupiter is also in a governing situation in your life, being a 9th house lord, transiting in your 1st house. So to begin with, specifically after October 30, the time period for all those people who are in a lookout for matrimonial alliances is going to be very favorable. Also, guys, with this kind of energy of Mars and Ketu conjunction in your 7th house, even regarding your commercial interest and all, it is going to be creating some very sudden surge of energy. Like, let's say, for example, if you are looking forward to any of the important business deals or any of the concerns of getting tenders and all, so this is going to be a very harmonious time for all the Aries lagna natives. Again, guys, it all comes down to individual to individual. There is definitely going to be a very strong surge of energy which is going to be getting generated in your 7th house. Now it all comes down to what exactly are your circumstances pertaining to the matters of 7th house. So let's say, for example, if you're already going through some difficulties within the matrimonial life, you're already going through some bitter fights with your partner and all, so this can also create an energy of rift. This can also create an energy of separation. Also, guys, during this time, because 7th house also tells about our business dealing as well, our public image as well. So try not to come across as someone who is like very restless, someone who is always in a haste, someone who is very impulsive. So like the way we say this thing a lot many times, like general road rage kind of incidents or public outrage is also being attached with this kind of combination. So let's say, for example, if you are in a public seat and suddenly people are expecting a lot from you, or public is suddenly, or general masses is not very happy or contented with you, so deal it with grace and with diplomacy. That is all what I can say. But yes, guys, time period till October 30 is kind of very volatile, very sensitive for you. But afterwards, in the next 15 days from October 30 till November 15th, this will definitely churn up some very positive results for all the Aries lagna natives. Now, guys, for all the Taurus lagna natives, so guys, in your case, as you can see that it is going to be very sensitive transit for all the Taurus lagna natives. Mars in your case has got the rulership over your 7th house and your 12th house, and its conjunction with Ketu in the 6th house is the energy of very strong surge of energy. So first of all, pertaining to the matters of health, you have to be very careful. In your daily line of work, there could be some very fierce, challenging and competitive situations which you might have to go through. Again, guys, if Mars Dasha is right now active in your case, and during this time only you have to write any competitive exam and all, so this surge of energy will provide you proper impetus, proper momentum in order to put forth your energies in the right direction. But yes, guys, like whenever we talk about the 6th house related matters, like definitely if you are by yourself working as a lawyer, working as a cop, working as a doctor, arbitrator, this could be a very favorable time for you. Like you might get more clients, you might be able to, or you will come across someone who's very logical, someone who's very competitive, someone who's very fierce. But let's say, for example, you are in a victimized side of the 6th house, that you are going through some court trials or lawsuit related concerns, then you have to remain very cautious, very careful. Like the way, guys, this is a typical combination where we say this thing that your enemies are in a more empowered state. So take your moves very carefully. And lastly, guys, pertaining to the matters of any credit, any loan or any of the debt related situation, over there as well you have to be very careful. Generally we say this thing that any of the money given during this time generally never comes back. So even if you will be put forth in a situation where you cannot say no and someone has suddenly kind of turned up on your doors, so even lend that much money which you can afford, that even if it will not come back, it's not gonna affect you that strongly. So yes, guys, and pertaining to the matters of the relationship as well, guys, so this is a typical energy of confusion, of rift, of very strong kind of conflicts within the partnership. So handle all these kind of situations and circumstances with tact, diplomacy and grace. Moving ahead guys, now for all the Gemini lagna natives. So guys, in your case, as you can see that Mars is not a favorable planet for your lagna, and the transit of Mars and Ketu is going to be taking place in your 5th house. Now guys, 5th house is a very important house because this is a house which tells about our mind, what kind of thought which comes to your mind. So for Gemini lagna natives, this is a kind of a typical transit which can overwhelm you with the thoughts of aggression, thoughts of conflict. Like a lot many times what happen is that all those kind of situations which are not very pleasing to us, we still adjust and we always maneuver ourselves, or we deal with the situation with tact and diplomacy. But whenever this kind of transit energy takes place, it makes us like very fierce, like do or die kind of situation where you cannot handle things gracefully. You want things to work out in your way only, like the way there is a famous saying, my way or highway, if I'm saying that right. So that is how the energy is going to get created. All those women who are currently pregnant, they have to give additional caution and care. A lot many parents might have to go through hard and difficult times while dealing with their teenage children, and also pertaining to the matters of art and creativity. So regarding that area or department, this is a very blessed time because you will be very critical in order to bring out some good creative work. So yes guys, pertaining to the matters of like academics, for all those people who have to write any competitive exam and all, it's a good time. For people who are in artistic creative field, I'm not seeing you guys vulnerable. Pertaining to the matters of stock market and all, you have to take risk very carefully, very cautiously. Women who are pregnant, they have to be very cautious, very careful. And yes guys, try not to by yourself provoke people around you, that which can instigate fight or which can instigate very conflicting kind of arguments. So that is all what I can say. But yes guys, for sure, people who are engaged in research or any of the competitive sports or combative fields, for those people this could be a very blessed time, because from over the 5th house, Mars is also going to be aspecting your 8th house and your 12th house as well. So people who are engaged in research and exploration, this could be very good time for them. Also for all those people who are in any sort of loving romantic relationship, if you suddenly feel that your partner is acting very weird or in a very unrelenting way, so try to deal in all these situations with tact and diplomacy, because it is only going to be in its peak till October 30. After that, all these energies will start mellowing down. Now for all the Cancer lagna natives, so guys, in your case, as you can see that Mars becomes your Yogarka planet, and in transit it is going to be entering your 4th house and it is going to be getting conjunct with Ketu. So guys, one thing is for sure, because 4th house also tells about our inner emotional state. A lot many Cancer lagna natives, specifically till October 30, will find themselves very insecure, easily instigated, easily provoked. And let's say for example, within your domestic life, if you're already going through some difficulties while dealing with the family members, so all these problems, all these differing opinions might go to its peak. So handle all these domestic matter related concerns with tact and diplomacy, specifically till October 30. Also guys, during this time, any of the important decision which you have to take pertaining to the property, land, vehicles and all, it will be much advisable to at least procrastinate it till October 30. And also guys, for all those people who are in public field and public service and all, suddenly you will find that people are expecting a lot from you, or you might have to deal with very critical, very unrelenting kind of people, energies and forces. So I would say that doing meditation, mindfulness, making a list of all those things which you are very grateful about, so that sort of mindset is very much needed or required. And also guys, specifically because Mars is an important planet for you, so even the worship of Lord Hanuman in the form of recitation of the Hanuman Chalisa, Sundarkand on Tuesdays and Saturdays, or visiting any of the Lord Ganesha's temple on the Wednesdays is also very much recommended. Again guys, for anything to do with your professional image or professional undertakings, I'm not seeing you guys much vulnerable, because because it is your Yogaraka planet, and it is also aspecting some of the important houses like 7th house of your public dealing, 10th house of your profession, 11th house of gains. So pertaining to the matters of the professional endeavors and all, the good part about planets transiting from the 4th house is that drive suddenly comes from within. So only if the Martian energies are working in a constructive way, you could be very fierce during this time. You could be very unrelenting, very strongly competitive as well. So it all comes down to in which domain this energy of Mars is operating in your case, because Cancer Lagna natives at times could be very sensitive, very impressionable as well. So it all comes down to your own personality, planetary placements in your natal chart, but definitely how you deal with the surge of energy. Are you gonna be very insecure? Are you gonna be in this mode that you want to achieve and accomplish everything? It will all depend on that. But yes guys, pertaining to the matters of the professional success or being in a situation where you will be able to prove yourself with your strong logical problem solving skills or being very competitive, this is a very good time. Pertaining to the matters of domestic disharmony, you have to be very careful. Now guys, for all the Leo Lagna natives, so guys, in your case Mars becomes a very important planet for you, and it is going to be getting conjunct with Ketu in your 3rd house. So definitely guys, Mars is the significator of the 3rd house. 3rd house has to do with our prowess, with our courage, with our initiative. So for the Leo Lagna natives, being the 9th house lord in such a state in your 3rd house will definitely initiate or quick start lot many projects which you have in your mind. Pertaining to the matters of your relationship with the living signification of the 3rd house, it is a highly volatile and vulnerable energy. So a lot many Leo Lagna natives might suddenly get into very contrasting fight or debate with their siblings, with their friends as well. And like the way guys, you know this thing, Mars and Ketu, whenever they come in contact with each other, generally whatever happens, it has got a very far-sighted consequences attached to it. And in lot many cases where the difference reaches such a point that people sever ties as well. So you have to be very careful the way you will be conducting yourself within your surrounding environment. Pertaining to the matters of the initiating of any new project, it is a very harmonious, very auspicious time for you. And also guys, because over here as you can see that Mars is going to be aspecting your 6th house of conflicts as well. So let's say for example, if you are going through any of the lawsuit related concerns, or you are professionally working as a lawyer, as a cop, so this is going to be a very blessed time for you. More clients, or being able to win over any of the lawsuit, any of the cases. So overall guys, I'm not seeing you guys vulnerable. Any of the travels will prove to be very fortune awakening. You will be able to impress people, and also for all those people who are self-employed or skilled professionals as well, this is going to be a very blessed time or very blessed transit of Mars in your 3rd house. Now guys, for all the Virgo Lagna natives, so guys, in your case Mars is not a very favorable planet for you, and this conjunction of Mars and Ketu in your 2nd house will definitely spark lot of energy. So guys, first of all, to be very honest, pertaining to the matters of your domestic life or your family life, you have to be very cautious, very careful. Mars and Ketu conjunction, specifically in the Libra, is the energy of completely severing ties. So if you already know that you do not get along with your uncle or any of the immediate family within the immediate family environment, any of those people you do not get along very well, so it will be much better and advisable for you to avoid those sort of confrontation at least till October 30, till the time Ketu do not leave your 2nd house. Also guys, this is also typical energy which a lot many times suddenly create the energy of those expenses which are unavoidable. So my recommendation is that specifically for the Virgo Lagna natives, visiting the Lord Ganesha's temple, like if you have any of the Ganesha temple in your vicinity, and going to temple is possible. So at least till October 30, till the time Ketu do not leave your 2nd house, is very much recommended, very much advisable. So, and yes guys, pertaining to the matters of the family life, caution and care needs to be followed. And apart from that guys, let's say for example, if you are in that line of work like Mars and Ketu energy, and if you're working in the domain, you're professionally operating in that field, like let's say for example, you are working in any of the medical field, you're working as a doctor, as a surgeon, or anything to do with research, exploration, data sciences and all. So all those people can still get benefited. Again guys, whenever it comes down to the planet Mars, a lot has to do with our own personality, flaws in our own personality. So specifically pertaining to the matters of your finances, take your decision with a calm state of mind. Any of the decision, specifically financial decision taken in haste, generally end up becoming a reason of regret. And also guys, I would say that Ketu and Mars energy is there in your second house. So be very cautious, very careful pertaining to the any of the new financial dealings if you will engaged in. And this is also energy which a lot many times makes people vulnerable towards spam calls, getting scammed. So you have to be very careful. Even if suddenly someone turns up at your door with a dire financial need, so help with that much of the amount. Even if does not come back to you, you can still manage to live with it. So yes guys, that's all what I can say. And any of the concerns of travels or any of the concerns of charities and donations is strongly recommended. I mentioned travel because any of the change of environment during this time will be much more advisable and rejuvenating for you, because within your environment there is a lot of stiffness and energy of conflict which will be getting generated. So being in a new environment, traveling and exploring new things is the right way of dealing with this surge of energy taking place in your second house. Now guys, for all the Libra lagna natives, so guys, in your case, Mars becomes your 7th house and the second house lord, and it is going to be transiting in your first house, getting conjunct with Ketu over there. So guys, as you know that whatever happens in the first house, it has got a power to impact or influence our complete life. So a lot many Libra lagna natives might be suddenly finding themselves very overcritical, overbearing. So the impact of that will be felt in the overall areas of your life. So first of all, let's say for example, if you are already a very impulsive person, so during this time you have to remain additionally cautious and careful, because guys, the concern with the Libra lagna natives is that because you guys are considered as very diplomatic, very well mannered, kind of a people pleaser. So if you will start acting like this, it will suddenly be very it will suddenly come to everyone's attention, everyone's notice. Like let's say for example, a Aries lagna who is always bursting out, always impulsive, and if that person will start behaving like that, it will not be weird for people in the environment. But for someone who is always very calm and tactful, diplomatic, people pleaser, and suddenly this person is acting very aggressive, very impulsive, very relentless, that will catch everyone's attention. So in all these areas you have to be careful. Second thing is that guys, Mars in your case has got a rulership over your 7th house of your commercial interest and second house of your finances. So with this influence of Ketu in your first house, definitely a lot many Libra lagna natives will be driven towards looking forward to some new demographic or some new opportunities. Like let's say for example, with this kind of alignment, you create content on astrology and spirituality, but suddenly those thoughts have started coming to you that I can make content on entertainment as well, on politics as well, on stock market as well. So I would say that do not be in a haste to completely change your marketing or completely change your public image in whichever field you are operating. Also guys, pertaining to the matters of relationship, this is a kind of a typical energy which will bring the wounds or the bitter sour memories of the past again in your awareness. Again guys, try to understand this thing. Mars-Ketu has not much to do with the pleasing experiences. This could be Mars, your 7th house lord, getting conjunct with Venus, getting conjunct with Mercury, Jupiter, can still bring all those memories which are very pleasing. But this is a kind of energy where, like in the past, you have been abused, you have been harassed, you have been taken advantage of. So do not start thinking in those lines, because it will take you very deep in all those bitter memories which you have experienced in the past. And lastly guys, definitely for all those people who are in any of those fields where very quick decision making is needed, or being very critical, being very fierce, being very competitive, and giving attention to the detail, then acting out. So all those people in whose fields these kind of skill sets are needed will be able to perform very good. And yes guys, for your public image and all, you will come across as someone who's very unrelenting, someone who's very logical, someone who's very competitive, and majority of the problems created by planet Mars are personality based, like the flaws which we have in our personality in the form of aggression, desires, passion and all. So I would say that yes guys, for you people during this time, it will be much advisable that if you have any of the Lord Ganesha's temple in your vicinity, so visiting Lord Ganesha's temple, if every day is not possible, at least on Wednesday, Tuesdays and Saturdays will be much recommended. From October 3rd till October 30 is very strongly needed. After that, once Ketu would have left your first house, then the vulnerability will not be that much strong. That is all what I can say for all the Libra lagna natives. And also guys, pertaining to the matters of your business, commercial interest, or even pertaining to the matters of your finances as well, do not in this impulse, do not put any of the major chunk of money in any idea in any field. And also suddenly if someone turns up to you and in dire need of money and all, so give as much as the money, even as a help. Even if that does not come back or it gets delayed, it is not bothering you much, because whenever this kind of alignment happens, I've generally seen people who remain very much vulnerable towards getting scammed, or suddenly some big chunk of money, suddenly someone turned up at your door and that money is not coming back. So be very cautious, very careful in all these kind of situation. Moving ahead guys, now for all these Scorpio lagna natives. So guys, in your case, as you can see that Mars is your ascendant lord and it is going to be transiting in your 12th house, getting conjunct with Ketu over there. Now guys, as you know that whatever and wheresoever ascendant lord goes, somehow our focus goes in the matters of that house. So yes guys, this is a very sensitive energy which is only beneficial for, which is very rare possibility, but if you are like operating in the fields of tantra, any of the spirit related concerns and all, this could be beneficial time for you. Anything to do with the research, exploration, secretive covert activities, if that is what is needed as a part of your line of work, secretive operations and activities, so this is beneficial time for you. But in general guys, it is a kind of a very vulnerable energy. Guys, try to understand this thing. In our life, in our chart, every house represents certain elements, certain people. 12th house represents our enemy, which are hidden, which are not in front of us. And because Scorpio lagna natives, when it comes down to their public dealing, their demeanor, they are very right on your face, they are very courageous, they never forget things as well, so which ends up giving them a lot of enemies in life. Like that is the only reason a lot many Scorpio lagna natives end up working in the fields of law, in the fields of judiciary as well. But my recommendation is that during this time, just to kind of set up your protective divine shield, specifically the worship of Lord Ganesha and Lord Hanuman is very strictly advisable for all these Scorpio lagna natives. After that guys, definitely expenses can suddenly go very high. So my recommendation that any of those things, like we say that whenever Mars-Ketu conjunction takes place in the 12th house, in the 8th house, like acupuncture or voluntary blood donation, I will not recommend tattoo because then lot many traditional people get offended, but all these things are advisable, are very much needed with this surge of energy taking place in your 12th house. So yes guys, this is a kind of energy which is gonna be a time of high expenses for a lot many people. Suddenly you are finding yourself in a very hostile environment where everyone is turning up against you. Keep your calm. This is not going to be like this forever. The energy is going to be at its peak till October 30. So you might have to be in those hostile situation where without doing anything, all the blame is coming to you. All the fingers are getting pointed towards you. That is the only reason I mentioned this thing, that the worship of Lord Ganesha, Lord Hanuman is very much needed. Second thing is that guys, because from over here, Mars is aspecting your 3rd house of your courage, of your initiatives, 6th house of conflicts, and 7th house of relationship as well. So guys, pertaining to the matters of getting into any new alliances or new relationship, energy is not at all favorable for that. So let's say for example, if you are in that line of work that you are all the time looking forward to new partners, funding, investments. So yes, for funding and investments, if you are in need of that, those people can still get benefited. But for getting into new alliances or new ties, this is not a very harmonious energy. Now this could be for the commercial interest of yours, or whether like you are single, you're on a lookout for new alliances and all, the energy is not at all very favorable for all of that. So yes guys, that is all what I can say pertaining to the matters of all those people who are in the fields of law, judiciary, tantra and all. It's a very beneficial time for these people. And when we talk about your expenses and all, or being in a situation of getting the blame of other people's faults and flaws, so seeking refuge in the religious austerities will definitely help you, protect you, guide you during this time. Now guys, for all the Sagittarius lagna natives, so guys, in your case, Mars has got the rulership over your 5th house, becoming a very auspicious planet for you, and also the rulership over your 12th house, and it is going to be transiting in your 11th house, getting conjunct with Ketu over there. So guys, when we talk about all those professions where your fortune fluctuates a lot, like you're working in the fields of stock market, trading, or working in the fields of art, entertainment, so this could be a beneficial time for lot many Sagittarius lagna natives if your dashas are also running favorable. The only thing is that guys, because energy of Mars and Ketu is energy of haste, impulse and severing ties, being very quick to breaking off. So let's say for example, within the network or community where you are hobnobbing with people, you are mingling up with people, so do not be in a haste to sever off any ties. Like let's say for example, if the groups you are part of or all of those friends who rub you in a wrong way, but still you have been maintaining and preserving those relationships, so do not be in any haste in order to sever your ties with anyone, because guys, all these energies and circumstances will be at their peak till October 30, when Mars is going to be conjunct with Ketu. After that, energy will get mellowed up, but till October 30, you have to think with a very calm state of mind. Also guys, for all those people who are in any sort of athletic field, competitive sports, or like you have to write any competitive exam and all, so a 5th house lord transiting in the 11th house can actually work out in your favor. So yes guys, pertaining to the matters of the financial gains, new opportunities, this could be a very good time for all those people. But pertaining to the matters of your association, your interpersonal connection with people within the society, within the community, over there you have to remain very cautious, very careful. And also guys, for any of the new financial opportunities, because from over here Mars is aspecting your 2nd house and your 5th house as well. So for new financial opportunity, this is still considered as a very good time. And third thing is that guys, like the way I mentioned when I was talking about the Scorpio lagna natives, I mentioned this thing that you are at a receiving end. In your case, Mars is dignified, being conjunct with Ketu in the 11th house and aspecting your 6th house as well. So a lot many people who are already going through lawsuit related concerns, and you feel that you are being overwhelmed or your case is very weak, but suddenly table can turn in your favor, things can turn out in your favor. So yes guys, for anything to do with competition, financial opportunities and avenues, this is going to be a very good time for all the Sagittarius lagna natives. Now guys, for all the Capricorn lagna natives, so guys, in your case, as you can see that Mars has got the rulership over your 4th house and the 11th house, and it is going to be transiting in your 10th house, getting conjunct with Ketu over there. So guys, like the way you know this thing, Capricorn lagna natives, whatever they achieve in life, their success could be delayed, but these are among those people who get assured success. You talk about judiciary, you talk about the corporate world, unless and until Saturn or Capricorn is not strengthened, you cannot reach those apex in your chosen field. And guys, when we talk about the energy of Ketu and Mars taking place in your 10th house, this is the energy of finding success only after going through fierce competition. So this is what a lot many Capricorn lagna natives will experience during this time. Guys, one thing is for sure, that whatsoever you have endured and in all those fields where you have proven yourself, the judgment of that will get delivered when Mars will transit to your 10th house and will get conjunct with Ketu over there. And yes guys, all those people who are working in the fields of judiciary, of policing and all, so all those people can get benefited during this time. This is actually a very strong surge of energy which is taking place in your 10th house. and sailing with this energy. If some opportunity comes to you which on surface looks like to be very overpowering, very overwhelming, so have trust in your instincts, have trust in yourself. You will be able to handle or execute with full of the expertise. That is the only one thing, guys, which I want to say. So yes, a lot many Capricorn lagna natives are heading towards some very challenging times which will have a hidden success or opportunity in store for them. And also, guys, because from over here Mars is gonna aspect your first house, your fourth house, and the fifth house as well. So I would say that till October 30, energy is going to be at its peak, where suddenly you will find yourself being put forth in a situation where you have to deal with very unrelenting people. Your bosses are suddenly acting very weird or acting very unreasonable as per your understanding. But after October 30, energy will start mellowing down once Ketu would have left your 10th house. But yes, guys, if I were to package it or summarize it in one word, this is going to be a time when your flag of your success will be hoisted. You can have your monopoly, or you could be seen as one of the best in your line of work only after proving your mettle, or only after accepting any of the challenges and putting your best in those kind of situation. And yes, guys, because from over here because Mars gives aspect to your fourth house and the fifth house as well, and your first house as well. So any of the concerns of the land, of property, buying a new property, or getting a good buyer or good deal for getting rid of any of the old property which you have been trying to sell and all, this is a good time. Like I would say that after October 30, you will be able to handle things in a much graceful way. From October 3rd till October 30, tact, diplomacy, being patient will be needed, and worship of Lord Ganesha will be much recommended with this surge of energy of Ketu and Mars in your 10th house. Moving ahead, guys, now for all the Aquarius lagna natives. So guys, in your case, Mars has got the rulership over your 10th house and the 3rd house, and it is going to be transiting in your 9th house. So yes, guys, Mars is a very important planet for you. Like the way we say this thing for the Aquarius lagna natives, Venus is the Yoga Karaka planet, but trust me, for finding success or doing something or achieving something very magnanimous in your professional life, Mars also play a very equivalent good role for your lagna as well, because of the houses it controls. So yes, guys, with this energy taking place in your 9th house, you have to follow proper caution and care while undergoing any travel. Advices which will come to you, or the life lessons which will come to you, might have some bitter experiences attached to it, because guys, you know that Ketu is a karmic planet. Whatsoever happens in the influence of Ketu is somehow our past or karmic energies are attached over there. So during this time you might have to deal in all those kind of situations, circumstances, or you might even have to deal with all those people as well with whom you did not have a past good history as well. But again, things are gonna work out in your favor, because this transit eventually is taking place in the most fortunate house. So I would say swallow any bitter pill, because there is something good in store for you. I already mentioned, for any of the travels you have to be very cautious, very careful. Like the way, guys, we keep on coming across, like right now India and Canada has got some international diplomatic tension, and both of the countries are issuing guidelines for their travelers. So the same is getting applicable for you as well. Wheresoever you are gonna be traveling during this time, take into consideration the environment, how hostile or friendly environment is there. And also, guys, pertaining to the matters of people who are right now have to they have to initiate their admission in any of the foreign university, or people who are going through their masters and all, or anything to do with people who are in the teaching fields as well. So my recommendation is that try to follow the protocol, try to follow the guidelines as they are. Challenging status quo during this time might not work out in your favor. So yes, guys, that is all what I can say. Luck will definitely support you in some of the very weird and challenging situation and circumstances. For all those people who have got anything to do with the immigration related file work, or anything to do with the import export related work, my advice is that follow the caution and care till October 30. After that, things still look very bright for you, but till October 30, when Mars and Ketu are conjunct in your 9th house, you have to be very cautious, very careful. And also guys, just try to have some good relation with your father as well, because in your case, this conjunction taking place in your 9th house might also create very sudden argument or rift or conflict with your parents, with your father as well. So be very cautious, be very careful, specifically till October 30. After that guys, like the way I already mentioned this thing, if any of your efforts are directed towards the foreign land, travel, higher studies, you will definitely find success, but only after October 30. And worship of Lord Ganesha during this time, till the time Ketu and Mars are conjunct in your 9th house, is very much advisable. Now guys, for all the Pisces Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, Mars has got the rulership over your 2nd house and the 9th house, and it is going to be transiting in your 8th house, getting conjunct with Ketu over there. So guys, like the way you know this thing, that whenever Mars transit from the 8th house, the general guideline and advice is that be very careful when you drive. If in your line of work you have to deal with lot many sharp edged tools, weapons and all, so you have to follow utmost caution and care. And during this time, because Ketu is also conjunct with this transiting Mars, so all those cautionary things and the intensity of that will be at its peak. So specifically till October 30, my recommendation that follow proper caution and care. If Mars or Ketu, either of these two planets, are also active in the dasha as well, then you have to follow a lot of caution and care. My recommendation is that if it is possible to kind of get any of the acupuncture kind of treatment during this time, that will be much recommended. And second thing is that worship of Lord Ganesha, Lord Hanuman. Lord Ganesha specifically will be a antidote, will be a very divine protective shield in order to deal with this energy. Also guys, when we talk about anything to do with the people who are operating in the fields of the 8th house, anything to do with insurance, revenue, occult field, mining interest and all those people can still get benefited, because guys, from over here Mars is giving its aspect to some of the important houses as well, like 2nd house of your finances, 11th house of your gain, connections, supplementary income, opportunities. So overall guys, I'm not seeing you guys vulnerable. The vulnerability is at its peak till October 30, and till October 30, this is also my advice, that unless and until you do not see things very clear ahead of you, this is not a transit to take a leap of faith or just believing or relying on your instincts and hunches and taking any of the important decision in your professional life, or where your finances are connected, or where any of the big chunk of money is involved. So specifically till October 30, you have to be very cautious, you have to be very careful. So yes guys, that is all what I can say for the Pisces Lagna natives. And also guys, pertaining to the matters of your joint resources or your relation with your in-laws, over there as well, there could be some sudden stark energy of conflict, difference of opinion. So my recommendation, if you are already going through some issue in the areas of the 8th house, like joint resources, or you do not get along very well with your in-laws and all, so kind of either procrastinating or avoiding the direct confrontation at least till October 30 will be much more recommended for all the Pisces Lagna natives. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs for this upcoming transit of Mars in the Libra and its conjunction with Ketu. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.